You're listening to the Impact Implosion on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
It is another episode of the Impact Implosion here on Angry Marks Podcast Network. As always, I am Seth Drake, and on the other end is the Kingston. Well, actually, no, let's do that better. The Jade to my Rosemary, Mr. Mike Colin.
Hello, good evening.
We'll get to that segment in a bit. And well, let's start off. Did we have much news? Oh yeah, Billy Corgan gate is over. I think maybe we talked about that last week.
No, I don't think we did. We talked about something Corgan related last week, but I don't think we talked about that.
Yep, Corgan's agreed to a settlement of some kind with Anthem and stuff. We don't know what, but yep, it's done. The Corgan gate is over. Which will make Hayden O'Shea still talking to the boss weird.
Unless you're just turning into Vince Russo circa 1999 WCW.
We have a new boss. The new boss.
Oh, just get rid of Hayden O'Shea altogether.
No. He's a good guy. He's just in a horrible gimmick.
Yep.
Bradley's a good guy. He's just in a horrible gimmick.
Yeah.
And I think that was it, so I guess we got Impact. Last week's show I gave a B. This week's show was probably a downturn from last week's show.
Yeah.
Although it was saved at the end, but we'll talk about that. First, we start off with Eddie Edwards. Actually, we start off with last week where the DCC got revealed.
Yep.
And then Eddie Edwards comes out sounding like a kid from college. I'm sorry. He does not strike me as a legit world champion.
Or a good talker.
No, he is a terrible talker. You stop giving him these segments, man. You're not helping him.
No.
So he demands a fight with DCC, and DCC says,
that sounds like a good idea.
This is not about titles. This is about chaos. But your challenge is accepted, because actually he just wanted a fight. So, and they get new music.
Yeah.
It's okay, but not okay is what they're calling Eddie Kingston.
Kingston.
He's just Kingston. There are so many problems with this issue. One, what's wrong with Eddie Kingston? I understand you already have probably Eddie Edwards because you don't want to do two Eddies, but two.
It's a WWE thing where they don't want two people with the same first name.
Two, we have a Kingston in WWE as Kofi Kingston, so.
And a friend of mine asked, are they related? I'm like, no.
No.
One of them's black and one of them's not.
And one of them's last name is not Kingston, although his first name is Edward.
Yes.
His real name is Moore, so.
Yeah.
Thanks, Wikipedia, on that one.
Yep.
So, Eddie Kingston is the one to fight Eddie, but Eddie starts to get advantage and the other two attack. And here comes Brother Nero with new music, which is basically all of what the obsolete song is. It's the whole version of it. And basically, Eddie and Nero demand a match with the DCC, and Aiden says, go in the office and talk to the boss.
Yep.
Go talk to the boss. The boss.
The boss.
So, Jesse Goddard comes out for a non-title match against
Aaron Rex.
Aaron Rex. And the bad news, guys keep trying to say that, hey, Jesse excelled in the Grand Championship tournament. He lost in the first round. He lost to Eli Drake.
Yes. He excelled, all right.
And then Josh hypes up, in probably one of the worst moments, he hypes up the situation of the four-way for later on tonight, and he says, Franklin, EC3, DJZ, Miracle. And I'm like, what?
Whoops.
DJZ? Trevor Lee won the qualifier. What the hell is wrong with you, Josh?
You can't even remember what happened a week ago.
Yeah. Holy Christ. DJ Z? He lost.
Oh, God.
Holy crap. I was just like, no. Anyways, that freaking took me out of the match, although probably there wasn't much of a match. Aaron Rex still not good.
And Daughters wins.
With the Adonis Crab, Jesse taps immediately, and Josh says Jesse's earned another shot at the...
Tapped. He tapped to himself? You said Jesse tapped.
Oh, no. Aaron tapped. My bad. Jesse wins, and Josh says, hey, Jesse's earned another opportunity at the belt.
Yay!
Another shot.
Goody.
This feud continues.
Over that completely.
Yep. So Laurel's backstage and she's laughing, and they're like, "What you laughing at, Laurel?" And she's like, "I think I got a cute text from Braxton." And Allie's like, "Oh." Maria's like, "Oh, Allie, how is it wrong to someone else liking you?"
I'm liking him.
Liking him? Oh, is it someone else liking somebody else other than you? And so, yeah, keep bullying on Allie, and said, right, you're not gonna team with Brandy, are you? Mm-hmm. So Sienna says the same thing and goes, see, Brandy's got no one tonight, right, Allie? And she's like, mm-hmm. Yeah, seriously, she already said no to Maria. And then it goes back to later.
Sad puppy dog face.
Yes, and she goes, a sad chipmunk. Nero and Eddie reveal that the boss gave them DCC in a 3-on-2 handicap match, which they're okay with.
It's anything goes, by the way.
And then we also got to reveal that Gail Kim is vacating the title because she doesn't want to put anyone over on her way out.
Nope.
Of injury. Yeah, she's hurt. She was hurt in the first Maria match, which was okay for her when she fought Maria again. But
but they could do smoke and mirrors in that one.
Yeah, but no, I can't put over either Rosemary or Jade. So
not physically, at least.
Not physically. I can't do that.
Selfishness.
So, yep. So then it's Sienna versus Laurel versus Brandy, and then they say, Brandy, you don't have a partner, do you? Aww. And she says, you know what? Allie here's an idiot. Bit of a dumbass. She might get confused sometimes, so, you know what, Allie, go to the back. Because they're still not convinced they're still convinced Allie is Brandy's partner. Even though she's told them twice, no. Twice.
Someone's not listening.
So twice. So, and surprise, surprise, Brandy reveals Allie was never going to be her partner tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, it was Madison Rayne. Although, not a good option since, Madison Rayne hasn't won a match in God knows how long. Although she is a former 5-time Knockouts champion.
This was not good.
No, it was not.
Brandy's terrible.
Brandy immediately goes after Maria, who I would like to add is not in the match.
How about you focus on your opponents?
Yeah. And then, we start off with Madison Rayne, who has to be in most of the match. And then, surprisingly, Brandy doesn't fuck up here. Towards the end, it's actually Laurel who fucks up.
Mm-hmm.
Because Brandy's pinning Sienna, and Laurel does not get in the ring to break the count, so Sienna has to break the count, but Josh is telling you Laurel broke up the count. That didn't happen. That did not happen. Laurel did not break up the count. Sienna had to kick out because you were so out of position. And then Brandy did a flatliner for the win. At least she didn't try to transition that shit like she did in her first time.
No. Nope.
And this was not good.
Of course not.
Bad. So we go to the Hardy compound. Amnesia, Matt Hardy with amnesia is deleting emails. and he mentions the Young Bucks. I don't know no rock band. Never signed up for no rock band music newsletter. I'm unsubscribing. So he has a bit of a sweet tooth. He's eating all the candy. He's like, this delicious candy that we've had. It's so much candy. And Rebby's like, well, if you kept, we wouldn't have that candy if you kept stop giving the kids green beans. And he's like, why would I give kids green beans? That is absurd. Seriously, that is absurd. That is just absurd. And then the scribe appears, and he's like, who are you? Who are you? And then Rebby appears and like, who are you talking to? So apparently the scribe is not real. The scribe is in Matt's head. Has always been in Matt's head.
One of many voices that Matt hears, apparently.
Yes. But yes, and he's like, they talk about, well, Brother Nero is over fighting the DCC, which you should be. He's like, well, I talked to Brother, he's crazy. He's certifiable, man. He wants to solve this with violence instead of talking. And he missed my ice cream social. I made some delicious custard, and it's all going to go to waste.
Custard is not ice cream.
Well, it kind of is.
Oh.
It's kind of Italian ice cream, kind of.
Okay.
Rebby wants Matt to watch some videos, and he's like, okay. So then we have the Fatal 4-Way match. EC3, well, actually, first comes out Miracle, then Franklin, then 80s Jobber, then EC3. Yes, I'm calling him 80s Jobber. And this match was meh.
Yes.
And EC3 locks in his sleeper hold onto Trevor Lee, a.k.a. 80s Jobber, and guess what?
EC3
Trevor Lee taps out immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately. And so, yes, EC3 is number one contender. We go back to the Hardy house, and Rebby shows Matt his son's first birthday party, which was Final Deletion. He's like, how did I afford this? This must have cost a lot of money.
Hey, Matt, you have a lot of money.
You have it, yeah. And he's like, this must have, oh, he doesn't know that. Remember, he's
lost his mind again.
He's an engineer.
Oh.
Matt's an engineer. So he also talks about, and he watches Final Deletion, and he's like, this is crazy. That is not me. What is this? Why, I am committing arson. What is this? I am committing arson here, because he talks about the fireworks. I am shooting fireworks at the man. What is this? It's like, I can't take any more of this. I have set arson onto that piece of my property. And then he shows the lawn. Like, look at me, I'm landscaping on that man's lawn. I'm ruining that man's lawn. What am I doing? What am I doing?
What have I done?
Matt Hardy starts to leave, and it looks like he's starting to get a premonition, but it's a sneeze. And he's like, damn, change it must be the change of seasons. So yes, that's all for Matt this week. So we go to the Fact of Life, which now has music.
Wacky
cool.
music.
Wacky music. Music that you normally see on an old school TV show.
Yep.
Sitcom. So Eli Drake says, you know what? Last week things didn't go my way, and so you know what? EC3 want to do something? EC3, come on. You just had a match, and EC3's out there still sweating because this obviously was, this was done, obviously, afterwards.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, and there was a hit the button chant. Hit the button. So Eli Drake's like, you know what? We're going to do history. Your number one contendership against me. You wanted this match? And EC3's like,
wait a minute. Didn't I offer you the same thing a couple weeks ago?
The same thing last week. And you told me
it was a bad idea.
It was the dumbest idea he had ever heard. So you know what? I'm going to say no. Nope. So Eli's like, you know what? How about this? If I lose, I do not challenge for the world title for an entire year. Counter EC3's like, here's the problem with that idea. I want you to challenge for the world title. I don't want you to be out of the world title picture for a year. I want you to challenge that. So again, I'm going to have to decline. So he's like, but there is one thing I will accept. You put your voice in the line. Put your voice in the line. For the rest of 2016, you don't get to speak at all. How about that?
Fine.
And Eli Drake thinks about it, but he says, yeah, And then as EC3 leaves, Eli hits the dummy button in anger. And probably one of the best tweets was Maria Kanellis-Bennett, who said, "Is at Ethan Carter TNA Ursula?"
The Little Mermaid.
Yeah. Is she Ursula wanting his voice?
Your voice for the prince.
Yes.
We have a
So
title shot versus voice match.
Jade is cutting a promo trying to promote TNA.
Here comes Rosemary. Or
No,
Decay.
actually, here comes Decay. Decay interrupts her message and says, we're sorry about last week, but Rosemary kicking you, it was nothing personal. You were just the wrong place, wrong time. And she's like, it's funny Rosemary sent you two here and not herself. And he's like, oh, you want to talk to Rosemary? Well, she's up there. Go find her.
She's in the balcony.
She's in the balcony. Go and find her. She'll talk to you. Just go ahead. And I'm like, hide and seek time.
At least they're telling her where she is.
Yeah. And by the way, someone mentioned about EC3 and Eli, like, cool stipulation for it. Hopefully it won't turn out like the Twilight Zone where a guy has to sever his vocal cords. And I'm like, dude, this isn't Lucha Underground. So then we get a segment where Jade is saying Rosemary, looking for Rosemary, Rosemary. And I'm like, you said it more than 3 times. It's not good.
Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
Yes. I was expecting something to happen. It's just she was looking for her. So we go to Basile Baraka.
Ugh.
He's going to fight Mahabali Shera.
Oh, God. Because
Again.
that's a good idea.
Not a good match.
No.
Shera makes Basile Baraka tap to his new submission, the Camel Clutch.
Let's just give every
Let's give every person who is of certain descent, who certain has a brownish skin color, the Camel Clutch. Why not?
stereotypes. Racism.
Yeah, that's not racist at all. So Baron Dax immediately attacks Shera, and he has some move which is like a choke slam, but he doesn't lift him up; he just throws him down, and that's his finisher called the Final Judgment. That is stupid.
Braun Strowman, I think that's the same thing.
No, Braun Strowman grabs a guy by the back of the neck, lifts him up, and then choke slams him. This guy just grabs him by the front of the neck and just throws him behind. Doesn't even lift him.
I'm saying.
No, it's stupid.
I'm going to throw him behind me.
So here comes Al Snow with the fucking whistle. He starts acting like, Tribunal's like, go, you go, guys. No, we don't want you, Al. And Al Snow decides, I'm coming back to fight you guys. So he comes to the back. They fight. They take out them. Josh immediately talks. Al Snow is now trending on worldwide on Twitter. I'm like,
no, he's not.
Stop.
And then they're the Mega Powers.
Mega Powers. Shut up, Josh. That is our Shut Up Josh of the moment of the night, where he calls them the Mega Powers. The fucking Mega Powers.
Not quite, Josh.
No, they're not the Mega Powers. Okay, Jade finds Rosemary, and
Here's
Rosemary.
porno music.
Oh dear God, this was weird. They start talking to each other, very weird and cryptic speaking and stuff, but Rosemary's touching Jade in weird ways, and I'm starting to be like,
What am I watching here?
What am I watching here? Bad touch. And she's like, you know what? You and me are going to fight for the knockout sounds like, oh,
okay.
It's going to be in a steel cage. And she shows the arena, and I swear to God, it is an empty arena, which is a problem for a show. Empty arena, Matt. This is not an empty arena. It's supposed to be full tilt.
Oh, maybe it was shot before everybody was in.
I know, but still, you should have said that. You shouldn't have played it off like this was happening in real time.
Before the show graphic.
But you know what? It's a good segment. It's a good setup, but
just a little weird.
Little weird, a little porny.
Little rapey. Little rapey.
A little porny, and as you said on Twitter, I think I've seen something like this, but what was missing that started a porn, but the only thing was missing was a big couch.
Yeah, that wasn't on Twitter. That was what I said to you in conversation.
Yes. You did say that to me in
the
conversation.
big couch and the unassuming teenage girl.
Yes, with a demonic. This was weird. Weird as this was like. I'm like, this seemed kind of pornish. Not that I'm complaining.
No one's complaining about that.
They're two attractive women. I'm not complaining here. This is TNA though, so
they couldn't afford the music.
They had some kind of weird. Had some weird music. It was demonic, but it really made you look like, are they gonna have sex? Well, I know the answer is no, because of course not, because this is Pop TV, damn it. This is not Skinamax or something.
We're way too early for Skinamax. I don't even think Skinamax does that anymore.
Yeah, I know. Cinemax still does exist.
No, I don't know if they do the Skinamax stuff anymore.
They don't.
No, not in this culture.
No, they stopped. But yeah, it just seemed weird, and I was like, And yeah, that whole segment was just weird. I didn't think TNA meant tits and ass. I thought it meant total nonstop action.
And that leads us to the hype for next week's show and the main event,
which will have that steel cage match. It will have Eli Drake versus
EC3
for the title shot and EC3's voice.
And the capture flag title is on the line as well.
Oh yeah, and an elimination match. And then we go to the main event. I was going to give this show a D. I'll be honest. And I'm not sure you thought the same thing. It was dragging a lot.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Then the main event.
I had a conversation with you during the show. I said that I think the show was dragging quite a bit because it felt like, we were 40 minutes in and we should be seeing more.
Jeff comes out looking like Brother Nero and not Jeff Hardy. He looks more like Brother Nero now with the eye pain. He didn't have that in the beginning, but yeah, he's starting to look more like Brother Nero. Came out to that. And before the match even begins, Jeff hits a twist of fate on Bram.
Yeah.
And DCC are regrouping on the outside. Eddie Edwards hits a suicide dive, and Jeff takes a dive off the top rope. But soon, DCC takes control. The faces are in peril. And then there's a spot that made me go, ow. By the way, this is not a no DQ match.
So anything goes.
Yeah, anything goes. But there is Eddie Kingston sets up two chairs with their backs to each other, and you see what he's going to do. He's going to suplex. I think it was Jeff Hardy. No, it may have been Eddie Edwards. No, it was Eddie Edwards. And
Eddie was going to suplex Eddie.
No, Eddie Kingston was going to suplex Eddie Edwards onto the spot, but Edwards reverses it and suplexes Kingston onto the back of the chairs.
Oh, God.
They were standing. So, yes, the back of the chair. Yes, I was like, ow! Oh, shit. Ow! That hurt. So Jeff runs in. James Storm hits the Eye of the Storm onto him for a near fall. Meanwhile, Bram hits the brighter side of suffering DDT onto Eddie on the outside.
Yep.
And that looked sick.
Mm-hmm.
Because he did that from, he did that from the apron to the table on the outside. But inside the ring, Jeff hits a twist of fate. Storm is still groggy. He tries to hit another one. Storm pushes him off, hits a last call for the 1, 2, 3. Really damn good main event and saved the show. Gave it a C instead of a D.
Sounds about right.
Good main event. I did not think, I was really nervous they were going to have the DCC look like chumps in their first match.
A la Aces and Eights.
Because this is TNA after all. They do this sometimes. They do.
Yes, we have a heel stable can be dominant, and they get squashed every match.
And if you can look on my Twitter account, I do have the Eddie Edwards spot, Eddie Kingston spot. And yes, it is painful.
Yeesh.
Yes. Kingston's a trooper for taking that one.
Yep.
That looked like it fucking hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, C-Show, dragged at times. There were good stuff. The kind of porny thing with Jade and Rosemary was kind of good. Was good. Weird, but good, setting up the steel cage match. What also was good? The Hardy stuff was funny, as always.
And the setup
stuff was really good.
Yeah.
But the problems were the knockouts match was terrible.
That's because you got one person who we know is not a good worker yet.
We know one person is not a good worker, and we have another person who is still green in Laurel Van Ness. Who's still green.
You really only got two people
who can
carry
work
the match.
Yeah, and unfortunately, by the end, you're still convinced that Brandy's got to get over somehow. So she's got to beat Laurel.
Because you got to protect Sienna.
Yeah, you got to protect Sienna, but you don't need to protect Madison Rayne. But Brandy's got to win, so Madison doesn't need to factor into it.
Right.
It was just, goddamn.
Yep. And what do you got to sell?
I have nothing to sell, although we will probably be out for the next few weeks, and because Thanksgiving, and I still got to spend time with the kids. So the next week after Thanksgiving, I'll be out. So we'll probably be doing a show about 3 weeks.
Yep.
And I will also have the induction done, which will be Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. And by the way, for all the spoilers alert warning, the next induction, I feel like doing one that had been up for option for a while, but had never been winning. So I'm going to do Ice Spiders.
Alrighty. And on that note, we will see you guys in a couple weeks.
And Miley, we are heading to bed.
Good night, everybody.